Oh, that PlayStation intro. Aloha, everybody. It is I, the Great Clement, and today we're playing a Resident Evil-style horror game known as Fear Effect. I will warn you, this is rated M for mature, so if you have any youngins watching this with you, you might want to skip this one.
Death. The thing we fear most. But my only fear was what would happen if I remained alive. So I ran. I knew my father would try to stop me, and I knew others would come for me. Others whose only desire was money. But my longing was stronger. I wanted salvation. Of all the sensations, pain is the purest, without ambiguity. You feel it or you don't. I had never experienced pain. But now I knew that I could visit it on others. A pain so strong, so intense, that it would purify the world. I had learned the truth, so I ran. The noise of the funeral didn't mask my assassin's approach. I hoped for a quick death, hoped it would be possible. So I stopped running. I had never experienced pain, and I so wanted to feel it now. I wasn't disappointed.
So yes, this is Fear Effect. It has a very unique art style. You gotta remember, guys, this is on the PlayStation 1, not the PlayStation 2. So it really looks pretty advanced for its time, and I thought it was a pretty unique, fun game, if a little bit flawed, and it's something I want to show off. Right now, you'll notice I put the difficulty on hard mode. Why? To show how much of a badass I am. Also, it's the way to get the best ending in the game, so if you want to see the best ending, gotta play the game on hard.
Hong Kong, a familiar place in another time. Mercenaries were coming from the west, told of my disappearance by a man, a betrayer who worked for my father. I had become a commodity that would be redeemed for cash.
So, you trust him?
Jin's reliable.
Yeah? How do you know?
He helped me get out of the streets years back, before he threw in with a Triad. He's always got an angle, but I'd say he's a friend.
When you're talking about this kind of money, you can lose friends in a hurry. And once we find the girl, we are talking about this kind of money, right, Hannah?
Wei Ming Lam is the daughter of the most powerful Triad Leader in Hong Kong. Don't worry, Glass. If we reach his little runaway first, Lam will pay us handsomely to get her back.
Of course, he'll want us dead as well.
There, that's it. The Lam building.
I've got 11 o'clock straight up.
Jin said he'd be on the pad.
So much for Jin being reliable.
I'll go find him.
Alrighty, so for anyone who's not familiar with the old Resident Evil, I'm not talking about the Resident Evil 4, or the Resident Evil 5 or 6. This game is very much like that in how it controls. I'm having fun with the somersaults there, but basically it has sort of like tank controls. You push up in order to move forward, and if you want your character to move right, you have to literally push right, and there's a button to turn your character around with L1 and whatnot. And it's a little bit... And there's also pre-rendered backgrounds, so like every now and then when you're walking around, the camera angle will change, and you'll have to sort of adjust to where your position is. Again, if you played any kind of old-school Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, you already know what these kind of games play like. But for a 2000 game that came out pretty much after all the first 3 Resident Evil games came out, this one does have a lot of improvements, honestly, that make it a slightly more enjoyable, at least control-wise and gameplay-wise and flow-wise, in comparison to Resident Evil, but, yeah. It should also be noted that the first disc of Fear Effect is a little bit scratched on my end, so it doesn't happen with every cutscene, but certain cutscenes like this, they sort of transition a little bit badly, and this whole entire game is made up of FMVs. So, you know, oh, you kids, you don't know how good it was back in the day. I don't know why I'm talking to kids. Kids shouldn't be watching this. This is a dark fucking game. It gets pretty gory later on, but it should be warned that, you know, disc 1, you see how the background's sort of like skipping a little bit? I can't really do anything about that, aside from like buying a new copy of Fear Effect. But all the cutscenes are pretty much intact anyway, and it didn't really seem like a giant problem that ruined the experience. And disc 2 and 3 and 4, I've already recorded those, and I know for sure that those work fine, so. Disc 1, this opening area, just some transitions will be bumpy, you know, that's all. So I should probably talk about the combats. Usually in a Resident Evil type game, you have to fight like zombies, killer dogs, like crazy tentacle monsters and stuff. And not to say there aren't any surprise supernatural monsters in Fear Effect, but for a lot of the game, you're actually going to be taking on gunmen, like bodyguards, soldiers, and whatnot. And that makes this a little bit different. You have people who are aware, people who, if they see you, will try to start gunning you down. It's almost got a stealth Metal Gear Solid aspect to it, so there's a lot more emphasis on sneaking around and actually sneaking up on people. In the top left corner, you can see this little life sign beeping. That is actually your health meter. Throughout Fear Effect, you do not get health power-ups at all. You don't find medkits, you don't find green herbs, or herbs, I don't know how you say it. You don't find healing supplies. It sort of has a regenerating health kind of thing. The top left bar is called the fear meter, and it's like, the more you run away from guys, the more that they shoot you. Your character, I guess, gets a little bit more scared. That's how the instruction manual sells it anyway, but the important thing to know is, you're good when the bar is green, and it's at a steady rate. But as the game goes on, if you get hurt a lot, it goes to yellow. You get hurt more, it goes to orange. You get hurt even more, it goes to red. And if they start shooting you when you're red, well, then you're going to die. Again, very Resident Evil. You always want to save your ammo in this game, especially since I'm playing the game in hard mode, so enemies take a little bit more bullets to bring down, and it's a little bit more scarce to find. You know, each character should have a melee weapon when you're using them. So Hannah here has a knife. You sneak up on people, and then you get behind them. You'll see this little crosshair at the top, a red crosshair. You activate it, boom! One hit kill, you get their ammo, and you didn't waste a bullet, you know?
Fuck, Jin, who are you waiting for?
Please.
Who are you planning to give this to, huh, Jin?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wrong answer.
You said this deal was clean, Jin.
How'd they get that camera angle? That's one hell of a security camera, I must say. So the guy who just got punched out is our informant, Jin. He just dropped a key, said 67 on it. There's a locker titled 67. So it looks like we'll have to get into that locker eventually. So again, what you see my character do, I have to sort of sneak up on guys. And if they see you, it's not like instant game over. Well, not most of the time. But they will start firing on you. And again, it's really important to conserve your ammo. You do not want to get shot, because without healing supplies, your health doesn't regenerate until it reaches like certain parts. And this is a game that, I won't lie to you, it's very, very trial and error. This is a game that actually punishes players for not saving, because if you don't save at all, when you die, it just kicks you to the main menu. And that's the good old 90s gaming, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to have a checkpoint system. It's not going to start you back at the place you were before. No, it's going to be like, did you save? No? Oh, I guess your game's over then. If you go like 10 minutes of gameplay without remembering to save, you know, that's 10 minutes you've lost when you die. And it's so easy to die in this game. So, you know, this is a very methodical game. I don't want to say it's Dark Souls hard or anything, but it's very methodical. You gotta be a little bit more careful about how you approach certain situations. You can't go in guns a-blazing. Very much like Metal Gear Solid, this does not encourage the action commando route, you know? Resident Evil was always about conserving your ammo too, but with Fear Effect, there's a little bit more of an importance on it, I guess. Every now and then when you're walking around areas, it just happened right there actually, your phone will go off, and that's actually how you save the game. In the bottom right corner, it will say save, and you'll hear a phone ringing, and that's when you have to go into your inventory, bring up the cell phone, and if you use the cell phone on that point, you could save your game. And the thing is, it has a very long save period to it. Like, at first it has to check the memory card, then it's saving the memory card, then it says done. And so throughout this playthrough, I'm actually cutting out that bit just to make this playthrough flow a little bit quicker and whatnot. But it should be mentioned that every now and then you'll hear a phone ring and you'll see save in the bottom right corner. That's me responding to a cell phone, and it only rings at certain points. It's like an invisible typewriter, really. Take that. But, you know, every time you hear the phone ringing, that's where a save point is. You know, there are a certain amount of save points throughout the levels. It's not like you can just save wherever you want. I can't save here. I have to wait until my phone rings. So, you know. If you have a phone that sounds like the game phone, it will probably drive you crazy, because you'll never know when someone's actually calling you or when the game is actually calling. So I'm in the save spot. Let's go pull up the cell phone. And then I saved. Booyah. I could waste a bullet on him, but instead I'll bring out my knife and slash, you dead. We're not good people, the main characters, so I won't feel bad about that. Here, you gotta watch out for all the electric floor, obviously, right? Just obviously walk into the panels when they're not electric, and just follow the pathway, and you'll be fine. That one's pretty self-explanatory, not too hard. Before I go on the lift, though, I did find the key, the locker key that I saw in the security camera. So I may as well take advantage of that. See, here's when the guards, they see me. I can't really sneak up on him. He was facing my way as I came up, and the camera, again, pre-rendered backgrounds. I can't really change how I see ahead or anything, so when a guard is just facing me when I come up to the next screen, you gotta be careful. You gotta have your guns ready. You gotta be methodical. And there we got a blue card and another gun, so we can dual wield. Dual wielding obviously wastes double the bullets, but it does double the damage. And honestly, if you're ever in a gunfight, you're probably fighting like more than one or two guys at a time anyway. So I find that it's better to have dual pistols. Once you get that second gun, never go back to one gun, you know? Plus, the great thing about this game is that the lock-on's pretty decent anyway, so, like, if there are two guys in front of you, Hana is actually a pretty good shot, and usually takes out two guys at a time. So there's a lot going on throughout this level. I am doing a pretty... It's not a blind playthrough. Like, I know what I'm doing. I love this game to death, and there's a lot of puzzle elements to this. You know, you always have to find items, whether it's locker keys, whether it's like wire cutters. I just picked up wire cutters. Why do I need wire cutters? I don't know. We're going to find out later. But you can bet they'll be involved in the plot or involved in a lot of the puzzles that this game has. And believe me, there are tons of puzzles. There, I actually screwed up sneaking up on him, and so I had to kill him before he shot me. Luckily, he was a terrible shot, so I'm still alive. You always have to hold R2 in order to sneak up on people, because if you're not holding R2, Hana just walks normally. And when you're walking normally, all the guards can hear you. And, you know, obviously sneaking makes you slower, but it makes you quieter. So, use your knife and slit everybody's throats. Anywho, time for some plot.
Tick, tock, or you'll start to tick, Jin. Now, who are you waiting for?
He's waiting for me.
Get her! Wait, Hana! Don't leave me! Don't let this kill me!
So here we're going to see the dual pistols aiming at two different targets. Boom! I love that. I love that they have two different kind of aiming things, so you can take on multiple targets. That's pretty fun.
This was supposed to be a standard grab and hold, Jin. What the hell happened?
Yeah, Lamb must have had me watched. He knows I'm tight for cred. You can turn this off, huh?
The C4 is hardwired. I pull the blasting caps, you and I are misting the walls.
Then don't do that. You alone?
Glass is with me. Deke's at the hotel. This is a lot of trouble for one little runaway, Jin.
It's the first time Wei Ming's ever been outside the lamb's compound. She's all alone in the big bad world, ripe for the taking.
There are 3 leads between each delay, probably neutral, ground, and hot. So, outside the Triad, who knows Wei Ming's gone?
No one, Hannah, except for you, which is worth
15% of 90 million, and you're in no position to negotiate.
90 mil. That's your asking price to guarantee her safe return?
No guarantees. You know me better than that, Jin. Looks like I'll need to cut 2 of 3 wires between each delay without interrupting the circuit.
And if you cut the wrong wires?
Wrong wires, a wrong order, and boom. Or I could just say screw the money and leave you here.
I'll cut my fee. 12%. 10%, huh? Hannah, please. You owe me.
Not after this, I don't. Damn it.
What? What is it, Hannah?
The timer, it just started.
How much? How much is it saying?
Not a lot. Now shut up, Jin. I gotta think.
Okay.
Aw man, we got bomb disfusal! And we will defuse that bomb in part 2.